Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second episode of the EluciCast. My name is VG Elucidator, and I'm going to be your pilot through this extremely turbulent airspace podcast. Whatever. Okay, so let me preface this whole thing by saying that I didn't ask for this. You didn't ask for this. Nobody asked for anything that I'm about to explain, okay? And for anybody out there who has played this game, if you can disagree with me, then please let me know. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I did the game wrong. I'm usually pretty good at most games that I play. And I've played enough RPGs to know that 5% increases on certain things can make a pretty big difference. So, Star Ocean's one of those weird games where you're like 2% this, 3% here, 5% here. And you're like, well, should I really put the points into that, or should I put them into something else? And I understand that. I understand that you need to put those little increases in, and I understand the roll system, and I get the importance of it. Here's what I don't understand, okay? The battle system in that game is absolutely fucking nonsensical. Doesn't make a lick of sense. In the beginning, it was tame. It made sense. But then you start realizing that once your health is like 5,000 and you're only like level 20 or 15 or something, you're like, I'm getting health pretty fast. That's a little weird. And then you're like level 40 and you have like 15,000 health and you're like, okay, this is really strange. They shot the numbers through the roof way too quick. The rate in which you gain health is insane. And I say that because, like, a bad thing, because it is a bad thing. Okay, after a certain point, you can't keep track of what damage is what. Okay, keeping the 9,999 damage limit lets you know that anything above 10,000 is going to kill you. But whenever you have so much health that you can't even keep track of the numbers that are popping up on screen, it's like Disgaea. At a certain point, you see like 30k, 50k, 79k, all these thousands and thousands of things, and you're like, well, am I dead? How much HP do I got? Oh, I got like 80 million. I should be okay. But 80 million, and then you lose like 300,000, that's a harder number to kind of like do the quick math in your head. And I'm not saying that, I'm stupid or other people are stupid and they can't do it. I'm just saying it's a lot easier to go, okay, 3,000, I have 10,000 health, I have 7,000 health afterwards. 800 million health versus minus 800,000 is a lot different. It's harder to kind of quickly assess the damage. And in a real-time combat game, it is very hard to keep track of it, because not only do you have to sit there and go like, oh, am I hurt? Let me look at my health bar. Okay, my numbers are okay. What's my total health again? I got 20,000 health still, and how much did I have to begin with? And they have 30. It's just a monster number crunching mess. And on top of that, the enemies do the weirdest damage. Okay, they do the strangest. You could be fighting enemies and being completely okay, and then you'll fight the stupid fucking like robot taxi floating thing from the Fifth Element. That's whatever. Okay, and it shoots you, and it hits you with this automatic weapon that does area damage at the same time. The battlefield's relatively small space in the particular area that I'm referring to, and then it'll hit you, boom, 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 4 or 5 times. 4,000, 3,000 damage each time. You can't get away from it. You're dead. Everyone's dead. Everything's dead. But then you go back to the next room right before you got there, and guess what? You could take the enemies just fine. And then you look back at the whole thing and you're like, wait a minute, something's not right here. These aren't bosses. These are regular enemies. Okay? This isn't anything spectacular. This isn't anything special. But there are random jumps in difficulty in the enemies, and the difficulty isn't in strategy. The difficulty is not in this typical, like, I need to increase the health on this enemy, and it'll take longer for the fight to go through, and that is how you could tell the enemies are harder. No, it's just, these enemies will randomly do a shit ton of damage to you, and there's nothing you could do about it. You just have to avoid getting hit. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's not fair. It doesn't make battles challenging. It makes it ridiculous. To add to that whole thing, okay, there are sections in the game where you have to protect people, and mainly it's always Anne. Anne always needs protection because she's always getting fucked by something, okay? And I mean that sarcastically. She's not literally getting screwed, but you are. So you need all the protection that you can get. Unfortunately, the game doesn't reward you for getting protected. It rewards you for protecting the other people. However, the same issue the same issue applies with this situation, okay? So check it out. We already talked about how enemies can just do insane amounts of damage for almost no reason. Now pretend for a moment that all of those enemies are centralized on one character, and that one character is not doing a damn thing to stop it from happening. They're just sitting there taking it, all right? And you have 4 or 5 enemies pop up at a time, usually with automatic weapons or automatic attacks that they happen in rapid succession, and before you know it, the person's dead. You switch over to Fiore to heal, you switch over to Miki to heal. By the time it gets to the healing part, little does this animation, the bitch is dead, all right? That's not fun. And it happens repeatedly, and it's always the same scenario. Anne has to go hack into this. She's got to open this door. She's got to do this. She's got to do that. Everyone protect her. Ooh. There's only one part that I encountered where you had to protect her, and it actually sort of worked a little bit because it forced the enemies to bottleneck into this one doorway when she's trying to get into this like main computer hard drive thing, whatever. That worked out because the enemies were still focused on her, but it gave you an opportunity to stop them. So it's sort of like a weird game of asteroids, or no, what is the one where the meteors are falling from the sky and you had to shoot them with the missiles and you had to make sure they didn't blow up the city? ABM 91 or something. I don't know what it was. I think that sounds right. If you know that, let me know. Anyways, so we have this going on and that worked out, okay? But it's just so annoying because it's the same thing over and over, and there's nothing you could do about it. You can't cast shields, you can't protect wall, you can't put something up to stop it, you can't do any of that stuff. It's just, you put it there, she does it. If you make it, then great. If you don't, then you don't. And this is another thing to top off to this, to top the whole thing off. All right, look, if you're going to have a game where it is very likely for you to die, make it not a pain in the ass to get back to that point again, okay? It's cool that the cutscenes and stuff like that are kind of seamlessly tied into the gameplay, but the problem with it is they're impossible to skip. So in one particular instance, like I think one of the first times that you have to protect Anne from space pirate people or whatever, okay, you have to go through the scene where you're talking, and it's not a lot of talking, but it's just enough talking to make you go like, okay, I've heard this 5 times already. Can we just move on with it? Make it start like at the beginning of the fight. Make it a quick load or something. Make it really fast. Yeah, so that's that. So let me give you something positive. All right, I've been tearing this game up for the past 7 minutes roughly, and let's say something nice about it. The dungeons were kind of fun. Okay, they felt very Star Ocean-y. They sort of had this like weird randomly generated feel to it, which actually I don't mind because that kind of gives me I don't know what to expect. Like, you know, normally whenever you go to a place, not like you know what the map layout is from the get-go, but you go into a place in a game and you can kind of get a feel for what things are going to be like. Well, in these dungeons, they were large. They were huge hallways, and they had to be huge for the battle to kind of work out. But it worked for that, and I actually enjoyed that. The music was very exciting. Each places, you know, they had like different areas to explore, so all the different dungeons you go through, you could just kind of go off into random rooms, and there'd be a random chest, which realistically, I guess that doesn't make any sense, but it's a Star Ocean game. It's not really intended to be realistic exactly. So that kind of worked out in its favor, and I did like going into a room going, oh cool, a chest, let's go see what's going on with that chest. You open it up, oh, it's a weapon. That's kind of neat. That works. It was also interesting to look at because everything was so large. There was such a huge, like certain like grandeur, stature to everything. I don't even know if I used that right, but it worked, and I actually did enjoy going through the dungeons, even though they were probably, well, I take that back. They are not the least thought out parts of the game. The least thought out parts of the game are going to be where we get to in just a second. Okay. You finally get to the sci-fi part, all right? You get out of your planet, which is Fey Crete, I think, and it's been a while since I played this, by the way, so I'm doing this all from memory, so it seems like I'm kind of like muttering or stammering on that. That's actually why, because this episode's 100% improv. I didn't write out any like script or bullet points or anything. I just kind of, yeah, anyways. So there's a whole bunch of aimless wandering during the ship section. Like, it forces you to go through and wander around this big-ass ship the Charles D. Gaulle, which that name just bugs me, and I couldn't quite tell you why. It just does. I think it has like a certain like pretentiousness to it for some weird reason. Like it's named after a fake guy, obviously, but there's no history or context given to it. But whenever the ship gets destroyed or gets whatever, I think destroyed early in the game, then they get another one, and they also call it the Charles D. Gaulle, which kind of bugged me too because it's like, it wasn't even Charles de Gaulle 2. It was like, oh, actually, I think it had like G at the end of it, or B, or so, I forgot what it was exactly. Like I said, it's been a while since I played this, but it just came off weird, and I wasn't a big fan of that. The story sort of force feeds drama in certain areas. That's another thing that kind of bugged me. There's one point where Aurelia, the girl that's always being kind of tore this way and that way, Spice Pirate people want her, and then you need her, and the whole story just kind of seems to happen around her. She attempts suicide at one point, which kind of just, it was weird because it was out of place. And then they have this very, very, like I said in the first one, the story is just so poorly written. I chalked it up to translation, but in reality, this was just bad writing. It really was, because anytime that they're like, oh, things are finally starting to go our way, this is great, hey, Fidel, you want to go out to the beach and go ahead and have some? Yeah, but I don't know, I just have so much on my mind right now, and besides, giant dragon laser monsters are attacking the beach. Aw, damn it, well, we better go fight those guys. We beat them, fantastic, we made it. Hey, you want to go ahead and hit up the bar? Yeah, it sounds like a great thing to do. Yeah, I don't mind. But before we go to there, we have to make sure that we beat up all the ruffians in the town first, because they're blocking our path. But they weren't there a couple seconds ago, but they are now that you said that. Oh no, we better go beat them up. It literally happens every time that you say they're going to do something, and they're like, yeah, things are going great. And they don't. And it's always something that conveniently happens right whenever they say it. It doesn't happen any other time. Freaking annoying. Okay? It becomes so predictable that anytime that fucking Mr. Kenny Emerson says anything, you're just like, well, okay, I know I'm about ready to fight something. Because every time he opens his mouth, things could be going smoother. And then somebody comes out with their little one-liner that's like, oh, yes, they could. And then, like, they have to fight. Or he's just like, this is the best day ever if we didn't have to fight through these sea dragon robot pirates. And you're just like, oh, shit, man, this is every single time. Every single time. Let me reiterate that to you. Every single time. That's like if you woke up in the morning and you're like, well, I'm just a regular day. And then like right when you get your car, you're like, oh, of course, the car blew up right when I thought about getting in it. Better go find another way. Hop on the bus. The bus is like, oh, the bus isn't working. And you're like, damn, this is just the worst day. If this was real life, and this game was real at any point, the entire world would commit suicide because nothing would ever get done. Or maybe it's just Emerson's luck. Maybe it's just him, but seriously, every single time is a little too frequently. Let's literally, like, what drives the story almost is that there just happens to be bad things right whenever they say something's going good, or right when they have a plan. If only we had this. Oh, but there's a way. But in order to get there, we have to go through this first. It becomes so repetitive that you become numb to it, and then you don't even fucking care anymore. So the story, besides force-feeding the drama and all that stuff, and the weird character interactions, and the shoving history down your fucking throat, it's just so fake feeling. It's so unnatural that you don't even care anymore. That's actually what happened to me when I was playing it. I stopped caring about what we're doing anymore. I just wanted to go, okay, well, can I run around and fight things or not? I mean, are we going to stay here and talk for a little bit, or am I going to have to wander around a fucking airship, spaceship, whatever, for 10 minutes trying to figure what the hell to do? I found out, though, and this is kind of a good thing, but it's stupid that you have to rely on it without you aimlessly wandering around, that you can go to your little resources thing and it tells you a synopsis and it'll tell you where you're supposed to go, which is good because sometimes you need that in this game. And by sometimes, I mean like after you get to the spaceship part, you just need it because it forces you to just wander around aimlessly with no direction whatsoever so many times that you spend more time running around trying to figure out where to go than you are actually playing the game. Okay. Repeated tension moments. Okay. Repeated tension moments. What do I mean by that? Well, I think the name itself sort of just kind of answers it, but let me go ahead and give you a couple things here. There are several dungeons that you go through that they silent self-destruct and you get to the end of them. And Anne's like, Emerson, it's on silent self-destruct. We have 12 minutes to get out of here. We have 24 minutes to get out of here. And Emerson's just like, well, we better get out of here then. And Fidel's just like, yeah, we'll get out of here. But before we get there, I have to confront myself, my demons, Father. And then you fucking kill everything really fast because really nothing is a challenge in that part where those parts happen. But I guarantee the part that I'm at now, let me tell you this. I didn't even finish the game because the combat got, I know I'm kind of going back here, but I didn't even finish the game because the combat got so fucking annoying with its random ass damage. Just everything hits everything at once and the rooms are fucking tiny and you need all this stuff and there's numbers flying everywhere. And even my friend, I showed him the game. My friend was like, you can't even tell what's going on because there's so many like lighting effects. You fucking sword swipe and like 3/4 of the screen is covered up in blue sword swooshes. Okay. You have things firing like missiles and explosive projectiles at you. 90% of the screen is covered up by shit blowing up and you can't even see anything and you can't go anywhere because the fucking camera is like clipping through the walls. It's so chaotic. It's bad. Okay, it's bad. Square Enix, Jesus, dude, go back and look at fucking Star Ocean 1 and 2 and go, oh, it worked because it was contained. It worked because you could see what's going on, and it worked because the damage was readable. Because you could see where your character was, where you could do the math, and you could break damage limits. You can do that, but do that post-game. Do that towards the end of the game. This game, well, actually, let me change that real quick, because the game actually ends at a point where you think it's like you get to the half point of the game. The end of the game is where you start to feel like the conflict is building up, which is not good. Okay? Not good. In any game where you feel like the conflict is just now starting to pick up, that's usually right about halfway. Okay, a little bit before halfway, because you get to the peak of everything, climax is out at the top of the action and the drama, and then you're like, okay, so that's the bad guy. I need to go after him. I thought it was the other guy, but no, really it's this guy. You finally find who the real bad guy is of the game, and then shortly thereafter, in Star Ocean Integrity and Faith, this fuck is like, oh, here's the real bad guy. 10 minutes later, last fight. No, that doesn't work for this game. I've seen games where that happens. Okay, I've seen games where that occurs, and sometimes it works for them. But not this game, because it takes so long for you to feel like anything's really going on that by the time you start realizing that things might be going on, it's the end of the game. It's half as long as the other Star Oceans that were three-dimensional, okay, like Star Ocean 3 and 4, okay? It's shorter, and to top things off, they reuse assets. Remember how I said in the first one? Let me see if I could flashback. The music, I love that jazz organ. Okay, that was a flashback. That really happened. That really happened. All right. I found out the reason why I liked it so much was because it was used in the previous game. How can you sit there and reuse all these assets, have a short-ass game, and it's a piece of shit? How can you do that? How can you do that? I can't even ask that question enough times. I don't understand. How can you do that? How can you have the game already made for you? You just have to put the pieces in the right spots, and you still fuck up putting the pieces in the right spot. Doesn't make any sense. Nah, not doing it. Nope. I didn't even finish the game. I'll probably go back and do it one day when I'm like, okay, let me open this back up. Let me go in. Let me see what's going on. Let me figure it out. And, I just needed a couple months, couple years to cool down, because whenever I see that game, I just go, why? And it hurts because I don't understand, so I needed some time away. So I'm going to come back to that game. I'm going to figure it out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that, okay? But right now, I have no desire. There we go. I have no desire to go and finish that game. Nothing at all. Because I know for a fact that the last boss is going to do some stupid bullshit attack where he can basically decimate the entire party in one hit, and there's not a fucking thing you could do about it. That is not a hard game. That is a broken game. Okay. The writing never gets better. The writing never gets better. Okay, I do have a bulleted list here, and I'm kind of just going in a sort of whatever order. But listen, guys, the writing never gets better. I mentioned it for a couple seconds in the previous point, but the writing just stays bad. You sit there and you're okay, good, fine, whatever. You can do these private actions. Private actions in Star Ocean games used to be where you can go out in a town and let your people do whatever they want. It's sort of like how Final Fantasy X, whenever you go to a gas station, your guys are sort of like spread apart, and then whenever you leave, they all come back together. That's a private action, except Final Fantasy 15, I said 10. Anyways, 15 does that all the time, and it just naturally happens. It's not a big deal. Star Ocean did it a little differently, okay? Whenever you go into a town, you have the option to check out what other people are doing on their own, but you have to go to a little area or choose private action. In this game, Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness, you have to go to a little spot. Everyone's like, okay, hey, we'll reconvene at the end. He says it every time. We'll reconvene at the end. We'll reconvene at the end. We'll reconvene. I get it, dude. You're a military guy. You can use different words, though. Yeah, they couldn't pay the voice actors they couldn't say more than one sentence? Is that the problem? You couldn't just, Square Enix, you have so little money that you could sit there and reuse all these assets and not have to spend any money on making new assets that you couldn't fucking make the goddamn voice actor say another stupid line? It's just a line. Anyways, one of the private actions, you can go talk to Emerson, and he goes, while hitting on some women. Okay, dude, we get it. This guy tries so hard to play up this like Playboy thing. It's really, really obnoxious. We get it, dude. And then he also has this like thing going on with Anne, and it's very obvious that they have a thing going on with Anne. It doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work for this game. Okay, you don't have enough time to get to know the characters because they're too busy force feeding these tropes down your throat. And whenever they shove it in your face, you're just like, I know, because it's the 15th time they get it. They're like, hey, by the way, you might have forgotten, but Emerson, this guy, he's all about the ladies. Okay, he's always about the ladies. Every single time, he's always going ladies all day. He's just drowning in women. Okay, they just love him, but really they don't. And you could tell because whenever you talk to him, it never works out for him. But Anne's always right there, and it always works out for him. Then, okay, we get it. Okay, we get it. That's fine. I get it. 15 times, I don't care anymore. 30 times, I just want to shoot myself in the face. Other things that make it really awkward is there's a point in the game where Mickey has this weird I'm not a little girl anymore moment with Fidel, and it's very strange. And I'm talking about like borderline, this is it. It's uncomfortable as shit to sit through, okay? I'm glad I played that game by myself for the most part, because those scenes, the scene, especially the one that I'm about to explain right here, is just so uncomfortable and strange and weird, and it just shouldn't be, in my opinion. It just shouldn't be, okay? So she has always kind of been in this little sister role, and Fidel has always said that she's like a little sister to him and everything, and I know that they're not really related, but I learned that his father took her in, so she's kind of like a stepsister, which isn't really related. I still get it, okay? Up until this point in the game, they've always had this brother-sister relationship, and then they just fucking flip a switch and turn that shit off. Like, Mickey just goes, I'm not a little girl, you know? I'm not a little girl, you know? And he's like, yeah, I know. I've seen that. I've been watching you grow. This game has this weird physics engine where boobs and butts jiggle extremely a lot, and even though you're completely covered up, your boobs are all over the place most of the time. Oh, you've noticed? Well, can I call you Fidel? Oh yeah, that's right, because the entire time that you've known me and the entire time that the player's been playing the game, you've been calling me Fiddly, which gave you this little girl thing, and you also look like a fetus, so I mean, you got a lot of little girl things going on right now, and it's a little weird, but no. I'm a grown woman now. Can we date? Yeah, why not? That's how it fucking happens, okay? You don't just switch that off, All right. I mean, have some escalation, have it sort of build up. But I mean, so far, if we look at the track record, Miki's been flirting with other people the entire game. The only time that she says anything that's kind of like, hey, I got a crush on him, is that 1 or 2 times that are happened in the beginning of the game, right? Fidel shows almost no interest in her whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, he's like, I've always loved you. And she's like, I've always loved you too. No. How many times do I have to say no to this game? It's too high. It's too damn high, as a matter of fact. I'm throw a meme up there. Pff, too damn high, okay? The writing's just so bad it hurts. And let me go back to my private action thing. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I didn't write this one out all the way, but hopefully you still find my ranting entertaining. Private actions used to be cool because you can like interact with the people and you can build a relationship with them. Like there wasn't like a single romantic interest. For example, in Star Ocean 2, you had Reyna. There was Claude, Reyna. Girl started with a C. Celeste. That's who it was. There was Prior, something like that. Prior, I don't remember what her name is, but there was a bunch of different girls, and you could talk to them, give them things, make items, because the item creation was actually cool. It wasn't just a list of recipes that you learned by leveling up a specialty. The specialties, by the way, were bullshit, because I got to the end of the game and unlocked maybe like 12 of them out of 50, and I was like, how the fuck is this the end of the game? How have I not had to rely on any of this? I digress. So you used to be able to go to private actions and talk to people, and it would be cool because you'd get to like learn about them. Precious, that's the girl. Precious. I think they pronounce it Priestess though. Anyways, you could go into these towns, like we'll take Priestess for example. You can go to her house, have dinner with her family, and they would talk about things, and you'd learn a little bit about them. And then he'd be like, oh, this is supposed to be your boyfriend. And she's like, oh, yes. And Claude's like, And at that point, you can kind of choose to go wherever you want to go. And I know romance options aren't like make it or break it in an RPG, but at the same time, if it's going to be there, make it so you can actually have some fun with it. You know, give the player an ability that he can control and not just have the illusion of control. In Star Ocean, integrity and fuckfitness, you don't really have anything. I sat there and gave 80 love potions. I'm just kidding. I gave her 3. I gave her 3 love potions, okay? And Fiore didn't want anything to do with me. Nope, not at all. So, sorry, Fidel. I tried to hook you up with patches, but it just did not work. That's okay. If it did work, we'd have to probably fight a bajillion monsters to get to her anyways. Which is true. Very good call, Fidel. All right, moving forward. Inexplicable memory regaining Deus Ex Machina followed by motivational hero speech. All right, so Relia has a moment in the game where she all of a sudden remembers everything, and it's because of this weird fucking hole in the dimensional vortex portal on Falcrete. Everything's on Falcrete, by the way. But yeah, so she has this moment where she goes to this weird, like, it looks like Stargate. Like, if Stargate and the Sephiroth's house, whenever you fight him at the end of Final Fantasy VII, okay, whenever he's in Safer Sephiroth form, it's all like cloudy and like heavenly and it's all colorful and you're like, whoa, this is cool. It's like if you combine that with Stargate. All right, that's what we're looking at. I hope you have the image in your head. But anyways, she goes to a thing. It goes all crazy and shit. And all of a sudden she gets her memory back. What the fuck was that? It doesn't explain what it was. It looks like it's going to take you to another dimension, which I was all for. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. We're about to go to some other planets. Maybe we'll go to some planets that we've been to in a previous game. This is going to be fun. This shit's awesome. I love this. This is where I've been hoping it would lead up to. But no, instead you have a cutscene. It's the stupid little girl that is always getting in fucking trouble. But you don't know what, like, it's seriously, I still don't know why she's the focus of the game. I really, oh my God. Anyways, no, she just goes there. It flashes like crazy for a little bit. She gets her memory back, and then you leave. No dimensional portals, no Stargate shit, no David Spader or whatever the fuck, you're Bill Hader. I don't remember. What is your name? I don't know. He looked like Otacon whenever he was in Stargate. Not SG-1, I'm talking about the movie. Yeah, that guy. Damn, that's really gonna bug me now. What is his name? David Spader? Isn't it David Spader? No, David Spade. I don't know, man. David Hayter. Fucking snake. Okay, here we go. All right. So, every time that you do everything in this game, it'll be ready by tomorrow. Nope, that's it. Everything's ready by tomorrow. I wish life was like that. Oh, man, it's going to take you 10 days to get your tax return. Or, alternatively, go to your bed, rest. It'll be ready by tomorrow. Okay? No problem. I'm here for you. Okay? Everything is always ready by tomorrow. plans, battle plans, the thing needs time to be built. It has to download something. You got to upload something, trying to make a connection to the Charles de Gaulle. All right, a new ship is incoming from an alternate universe or whatever the fuck. Nope, it'll be ready by tomorrow. Everything's always ready by tomorrow. And the worst thing about it is it's not even like, oh, it'll be ready by tomorrow. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'll see what's going on. Nothing is ever going on. There's no filler at all. There's not even like you getting like the opportunities that this game misses for you to actually have character development and talk to people and get backstory in a natural manner. Gone. Okay, there's no better time in a game, in my opinion, when they go, all right, look, we'll leave tomorrow. Go ahead and get some rest. Okay, at that point, everyone's resting. Everyone's just kind of hanging out. Go talk to people. This is the time where they're not like at the ready for battle and stuff like that. This is the perfect time for you to go out there and talk to people. Not whenever you just got teleported to the fucking Arctic tundra and you're standing out in the middle of a blizzard. It's negative 40 degrees outside and you're basically in your underwear patches. Fiore, I'm talking about Fiore. Patches is Fiore because she doesn't wear clothes, she wears patches. All right, she's out in her underwear, negative 40-something degree temperature, and they're fucking talking about the history of the world. No, that's a horrible time. That is the worst time, okay? Teach me about the character through their ability to think and rationalize and take charge of the situation or figure out how to get out of the situation. Or, if you want to shove it in my face, wait till they have to wait till tomorrow. Nope. Sorry, they blew it all away in the beginning or in other parts where it doesn't make sense. So the only thing that's left for you to do as the player is to go and rest. There is no incentive for you to explore. There's no incentive for you to do jack shit. It's just for you to go and rest. And that's it. So why even have me do that? Why didn't you just force the game to go rest and then you wake up and it's ready to go? If there's nothing to do, why am I playing it? Okay? Square Enix, Jesus, pull your heads out your ass. Okay. Next one. I keep saying okay. I'm sorry, guys. That's like my nervous twitch. Maybe. Am I talking too fast? Maybe I should slow things down a little bit. No. Okay. So there are multiple times in the game. And I say multiple times, I mean like every single time something bad happens or something good starts to happen, Emerson comes up and says, we can't do that. It'd be impossible. To which Anne immediately says, actually, there is a way. Every time. It's the same thing. They reuse the same problems and use the same characters to resolve the problems with the very same words and phrases that they used to solve them before. Okay? Captain Kinney is the best captain in the Federation. Bullshit. This motherfucker has said we can't do that so many times throughout the 50 hours that I played that game. Well, yeah, because it kind of grind a little bit. So yeah, about 50 hours that I played that game. All right. And every single time someone immediately came up and they're like, actually, you can do that. And he's just like, the fuck out of here, really? Like, if he's so good at being the captain of this ship and the Kinney line is legendary and they're so fantastic, shouldn't he have like a little more knowledge about this space stuff or about technology or something? I do feel like they force feed not only the characters and their blah, 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 whatever, but the main character from Star Ocean 2, Claude C. Kinney, his father was also a Kinney because that's his last name. And I can kind of see how that, like, you know, it's a line of the lineages. I get that. Okay, that's cool. I like the throwback. Whenever I learned that his last name was Kinney, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But what I didn't like is how fucking stupid the Kinney line became. All right, the Kinney that you meet, Captain or Commodore Kinney or whatever his name was, in the beginning of Starship 2 was this serious, he was stern, he looked like he had a grip on things, he was ready, and he sacrificed his life in that opening cutscene for the greater good. He did that because he was smart, strong, and you know, he knew that the captain goes down with his ship and all that other stuff, okay? That was cool. That was like, dude, that guy is, do not fuck with that guy. Okay, that guy is badass. All right, you get to be Claude Kinney, and he's pretty cool too. I mean, but he never claims to be this genius or anything. He's sort of like a regular Joe, and he goes through the stuff, and it's cool. That's fine. I like that. That's awesome because you got to watch him grow. See that? Grow. You got to watch him grow. You didn't just sit there and go like, no, feed more. His. I need more backstory shoved down my throat. The random conversations that don't make sense. The world is exploding. This is a good time to talk about my childhood. All right. I don't want that. I like to see it grow over time. Everybody likes to see it grow out of time. If anybody, and I'm saying this now, if anybody says that Star Ocean Integrity and Faith, whatever, okay, if anyone says that game had a good script, you're fucking stupid. And I'm not even ashamed to say it. You're just straight up ignorant. And you just really want it because you're some kind of fanboy or fangirl, and that is a straight bullshit. That's like sitting there saying that the script of the back of like a vacuum instruction manual was solid, and you should totally send that to Steven Spielberg so he could make some movies and shit, okay? You wouldn't sit there and be like, Steven, listen, Mr. Spielberg, I got this great idea. All right, listen, I got this vacuum manual, okay? It's for Dyson, right? The vacuum's name is Dyson. Hear me out. You look concerned. It sucks stuff up, okay? It's a vacuum. It sucks things up. Something gets stuck in it. It has to go. It gets sent to Geek Squad. They don't really handle it, so then it's got to get taken. You see what happens here, okay? The stress just builds up throughout the entire movie. Is it going to get fixed? Is he going to be okay? Will Dyson be all right? Honestly, I just made a better plot than what this game has, and is a fucking vacuum. All right. Besides that we can't do that, it'd be impossible, and then Anne always coming up saying, actually, it is possible. They invent a new form of symbology, which is this game's like magic, or that universe's magic. They use signaturgy in Integrity and Faith. Fucking stupid name. They use signaturgy in that game. Previous games have always used symbology. Well, the universe or galaxy or where Emerson and Anne are from is they actually use symbology, infused it with their technology, and they sort of made this like hybrid magic and science thing, which it would have been fucking cool to experience that, but instead we got this other signaturgy stuff. So they invent a new form of symbology. Symbology is not something that is found on Fate Creed. They use signaturgy, as I said. Fiore is the foremost expert in both nudity and signaturgy. She immediately knows how to use symbology, and she teaches Relia how to control it. Explain that. First of all, symbology isn't even used on your planet. Secondly, you literally just heard symbology in the game time probably about 2 days ago, with no studying, no books, no anything about it. Nothing at all. Third, how do you get somebody to control something that you don't even understand because you just heard about it? You guys see where I'm going with this? There are just so many plot holes, so many issues, so many problems with the story, so many holes with the combat, so many holes with the characters. There are just so many problems that I wouldn't even buy this game for $20. I'd take it back. I would buy this game for $5. And even then, I probably wouldn't buy it. I would just listen to this and get the whole story, because that's basically it, okay? It's garbage. The whole game's garbage. It's stupid. Square Enix, get your shit together. This is an amazing series that you just really fucked up, okay? You just blew it all to hell. It's all gone. Now, if they do make another Star Ocean, I will be even more leery than I was before. I waited months, I think maybe even a year before I got this one, just based off of the reviews from other people. Didn't even want to try. Now, next, if you even come up with another Star Ocean game, if you do, and it's a mobile game, then I hate you, because Breath of Fire did that, and I loved Breath of Fire, and I don't even know why it is the way that it is, but it became a mobile game, and I'm not a big fan of that. Ryu, whatever, should never be a faceless hero. He should never be. I never wanted to put myself as Ryu. I always wanted, or Ryu, God, as a kid, I always pronounced it Ryu, and then I say Ryu for Street Fighter. I don't know why. But he was a character. You could tell he didn't talk or anything, but he did have personality, and it wasn't my own. He was his own character. So don't sit there and give me a mobile game where I have to make my own Ryu, and then I sit there and I play as some fucking whatever. I think it's not even in America, which is even more disappointing. So now we have this Breath of Fire on mobile. It's not even over here. I mean, I'm glad that I don't have it, because I'd probably just sit there and shit on that too. But come on, okay? Seriously, that's a great IP that you just completely, just like Star Ocean, you just shit all over. Stupid. So hopefully that explains a lot. All right. Hopefully that explains how I feel about this game. Hopefully you understand why you should not buy this game. And hopefully you understand now that if you do enjoy this game, that you should feel bad. All right. I'm usually pretty lenient on games. I usually don't like to sit there and poop on them all the time. I'm not like that. I usually like to sit there and give everything the benefit of the doubt. That's what I did with this game. Gave it the benefit of the doubt. I get to the end of the game. It's complete horseradish. Not going to do that. Not going to do that, Square Enix. You're pushing me away. In other news, I will give you a little bit about what's going on in my life. All right, so here we go. Right now, the Super Bowl is going on. I don't really care about the Patriots or the Falcons. Just don't. Never really was into that. And also, the only thing I just want to do is see the Patriots lose. For the same reason why you could ask any random Joe Schmo, and they'd be like, just because they've been winning so much, you'd like to see the underdog win for once, you know? So I'm kind of rooting for the Falcons, I guess, like, indirectly. Yeah. Other things going on. Oh, yeah. I happen to be the voice of Locke for Final Fantasy VI story play. And by that, I mean, I am going to be Locke. I am Locke. Okay. Zero Score, a friend of mine who wasn't a friend of mine until I started talking to him. Weird how that works, right? You're not friends until you start talking with him. Anyways, a friend of mine, he does these cool things called story plays, and I'll put a link to his website, his YouTube or whatever, somewhere in the thing. But anyways, you can watch that. I don't know exactly when it's coming out. We should be getting the script soon, but I'm pretty happy about that. I was really excited whenever I did my lines, and he was just like, dude, your lock was pretty good. I liked it. And I was like, oh shit, that's good. That's good news. I've never actually done any real voice work before other than my own videos, so it'll be cool to see my voice on something else. By the way, if anybody else needs a voice that sounds like mine, let me know. Let them know that I'm interested. I'd like to get into that, and hopefully you'll do me the courtesy. So yeah, if you'd like to see me rant about another game or anything else, if you have to talk about it, if you got a question, if you have literally any, I don't care, just literally anything that you'd want to do or talk. It doesn't have to be about games even. This podcast thing, the EluciCast, is about whatever I feel like talking about. I just happen to be playing Star Ocean, and I just happen to find a lot of shit that I wanted to talk about. So if there's any topics, anything at all you want to talk about, I would love to go into that. Try to steer away from politics a little bit, all right? Just because that's sort of like a hot issue these days. And unless you really, really want me to, or you want to be like a guest or something, then, you know, shoot me an email. It's vg.elucidator@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, VGElucidator. It's all VG Elucidator. You can find me. Also, I'm almost, maybe by the time I'm done with this, I will have it, so that might not count. But I'm almost to 100 subscribers on YouTube, which is just great. Because then I will be able to actually put my own URL. I won't be like www.youtube.com/ because that's really hard to just give somebody. I'd like to be youtube.com/VGElucidator. That'd be great. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you like these little podcasting that I put up. And hopefully you like to hear me bitch about things, because that's what I did this time. Next time I'll make it a happy one. I don't think, unless this is what you want. This is what you sneaky devils, you want me to sit there and complain. You like it when people complain and rant. That's right. That's why you like rage quit things and stuff. I know you, internet. I've been around since your inception. Can't fool me. Take it easy.